Hello, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Gruel, and we are going to start our first math lesson today. So I'm so excited to get started with you. Today, we're starting multiplication. So multiplication is kind of a rite of passage for third grade, where we get to learn to multiply and eventually we'll divide too. So I am so excited to get started on our very first multiplication lesson this morning. So I wrote on a sticky note our lesson for today. So our lesson, and I wrote an I can statement. So by the end of our lesson today, you're going to say, I can use equal groups to solve multiplication problems. So there it is. We are doing multiplication on day one of our lesson today. I want to tell you a couple things about multiplication. So when we multiply, we use equal groups. That's like the biggest thing with multiplication, and you're going to see for division as well. It has to be equal groups. That's the main thing for multiplication, is that we're dealing with equal groups. If they're not equal groups, it doesn't work. It's not multiplication. So what I want you to do, and if you need to pause the video after I tell you this, you can. I want you to get some counters. Now, if your teacher or myself gave you a baggie of little square tiles, you can grab that baggie. If not, that's okay. Anything will work. So if you have pennies or markers or crayons, loose coins, anything where you can get 12 of them. And I'm going to put 12 under the document camera right now. So I'm just going to take 12 tiles. It doesn't matter the colors. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have my 12 counters that I'm going to use for our lesson this morning. So again, if you need to pause it to get your counters, go ahead and do so. Okay, I'm going to slide this. So again, what our lesson today is, we're going to be using equal groups to solve multiplication problems. I'm going to set that off to the side so we have some room to work here. So equal groups with multiplication. So I'm going to start out, let's say I'm going to make 4 groups of 3. Okay, so I'm going to have, there's different ways that you can do this. So if I'm going to have 4 groups of 3, so I'm going to have a group of 3 there, and a group of 3 there. And this is going to be hard to see. Maybe I'll stack them so that you can see them really well under the document camera. Can you see that there? So this is a group of 3 right there. 1, 2, 3. There is another group of 3. 1, 2, 3. There is another group of 3 right there. And 1, 2, 3. There is another group of 3 right there. So I have 4 groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 groups, and there's 3 in each one. Now, if I'm going to write a repeated addition sentence for that. So repeated addition just means that I am adding the same number over and over again. So if I'm going to write a repeated addition sentence for that, so let's see, I've got this crooked under here. Okay, so repeated addition sentence. So there's 3 in each group. So there's 3 there, plus 3 in this group right there. So there's plus another 3, plus 3 in that group right there. So there's plus another 3, plus 3 in that group right there. So there's another 3. So to write a repeated addition sentence for my little picture that I have here with my tiles, my counters, I have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. And we want to solve that to get our total. So we could count the tiles. I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. I could count by threes, right? I could say 3, 6, 9, 12. Or I could just do some fun addition here by connecting. So I know that 3 plus 3 equals 6. And 3 plus 3 equals 6. And then 6 plus 6 equals 12. So however you come up with your answer, it's okay, as long as we get to that answer, however you want to add it. But this is repeated addition. So repeated addition, when we repeat something, we do it over and over again. So repeated addition is saying 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, because we're repeating that 3 because we have 4 groups of 3, and that equals 12. Okay, so if you have your 12 tiles, let's mix them. Okay. And actually, I'm sorry, boys and girls, what I wanted to do before that is, yes, we did an amazing job with our repeated addition. I want to make a multiplication sentence. Hello, we're multiplying, right? That's the fun part about our lesson today, is that we're multiplying. So if I have those 4 groups of 3, when we write a multiplication sentence, the number that always comes first in our multiplication sentence is the number of groups. And I just took them away. I'm going to put them back real quick. So 4 groups of 3. There was another one, and another one, and another one. So I don't know if you can see them all in there. 4 groups of 3. So when we multiply, the first number in a multiplication sentence is the number of groups. So how many groups is there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 groups, so that would go there. The second number is the size of the group. So that means how many are in each group. There is 1, 2, 3 in each group. So if I'm going to write a multiplication sentence, the first number would be 4 because there's 4 groups. And then we're multiplying, right? So it's going to be 4 times 3 because there's 3 in each group, which is going to equal 12 because 12 is our total, because the total amount of pieces we had there is 12. Okay, I don't know why that keeps going light and dark on us, but I can see the sticky notes real good, so that's the important part there. So 4 groups of 3, which equals 12. Now, just like I said before, go ahead and mix them up. All right, still keep 12, because 12 is our magic number for our lesson. Now take your 12, and before we made 4 groups of 3, now I want us to make 3 groups of 4, and let's do it a little different this time. So I want 3 groups, so I'm going to do 1, that's going to be for one group, 2, that's going to be for my other group, and 3, that's for my third group. So there's my 3 groups, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep adding on to each group. So there's my 3 groups. I'm going to put another one there, another one there, another one there. Okay, so we each have 2 now, and I'm going to keep going. Another one there, another one there, another one there. So now they each have 3, and one there, and one there. So how many are in each pile now? They each have 4, right? So if you were doing it along with me, no matter what you were using, I hope that you found that you had 4. If you needed to pause it and take a little break or to catch up, that's fine as well. Or if you're watching, it'd be really good, boys and girls, when we're learning multiplication, to work with some actual manipulatives. So if you had something to use, that would be really helpful. But at the very least, just as long as we're paying attention, and we'll eventually be drawing pictures as well. Okay, so there's our 4 groups of 3. So now if I want to write a repeated addition sentence and a multiplication sentence, so for my repeated addition sentence, all right, so remember, we're taking a number and we're adding it, and we're adding it, and we're adding it. So if I take my first stack, how many is in this first stack? There's 4 in that, right? So it's going to be 4 plus, I take my second stack, how many are in it? 4, right? So 4 plus 4 plus what's in that last stack? 4. Perfect. And what did we say about multiplication? That the groups have to be equal, right? That's the main thing with multiplication, is that we have equal groups. So if I want to add this all up, and actually we should already know the total because it's the same as before. So what is our total? It's 12, right? Good job, boys and girls. It's 12 because we didn't change our amount of tiles. So we have 4, 8, 12, okay? And I could also do 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 more gives us that 12. Now we want to do the fun part of making it a multiplication sentence. So remember, when we put it with a multiplication sentence, the first thing that we find is the number of groups, and it's the number of groups times the amount in each group, the size of the group, okay? So how many groups do we have? 1, 2, 3. 3 groups times the size of the group or the amount in each group. So we had 4 in each group, right? So it's 3 times 4, which equals 12. So that's our multiplication sentence. So that's how easy it is to take a repeated addition sentence, so to take some addition where we have equal groups and we turn that into a multiplication sentence. But the big thing there is they have to be equal groups to take it to turn into that multiplication sentence. Okay? Super job, and it would be fun for you and a good idea for you to practice if you have some manipulatives or whatever you're using later, to just take some and use a different amount besides 12 and make some equal groups pictures and practice writing, 1, a repeated addition sentence for it, and 2, you can write your multiplication sentences for it too. So that would be awesome. Then you can share it with us because we would love to see it. All right, so now I want to, that we had that little introduction, I want to start our problem set together, okay? So you should have your pink problem set out and ready for today. Let me clear all our sticky notes out of here, okay? Name and date on there because that's so important, okay? And let's go ahead and get started. So number 1 says to fill in the blanks to make true statements, okay? So we have 3 groups of 5. Well, we have hands, right? So how many fingers are on each hand? 5. So let's put a little 5 right in here. 5, 5, 5. And if we were going to add these all together, like do a repeated addition sentence, let's put a plus sign in between there. Okay? So we have 5 plus 5 plus 5, and we're good at counting by 5s, right? So let's do that, boys and girls. Let's do it together. Ready? 5, 10, 15. We counted by 5s 3 times. So we know that 3 groups of 5s, 5 equals 15, which means that 3 5s equals 15. Good. Which means that 3 times 5 equals 15. Do we see how easy that was to multiply? So we just multiplied and we just did it like that. So nice job, 3rd graders. Okay, next, we have some bananas. So do we have equal groups of bananas? If you look at the bananas, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of bananas, and they are equal. How many bananas are in each group? 3, right? So let's put a 3 on top of each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's so easy to turn our picture into a repeated addition sentence because we just have to put that plus sign in it. So just like we were doing with our tiles or whatever your manipulatives are, here we're just doing it with a picture. We have a picture of some bananas, and I circled to show the equal groups. I'm putting a 3 on top of it. And now let's count. So we have 3s. So I could count by 3s. I could touch each individual banana as I count, right? So I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and say 15 like that. I could count by 3s if I'm a good 3 counter. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So again, my total here is 15, which means that 5 groups of 3, we have 5 groups of 3, that equals 15, which means that 5 times 3 equals 15. Do you notice anything the same about these 2 groups here? What do you notice? They both equal 15. Here we have 3 groups of 5, which equals 15. And here we have 5 groups of 3, which equals 15. 3 times 5 equals 15, and 5 times 3 equals 15. I'm going to tell you a little secret that you're going to learn later. This is actually called the commutative property of multiplication. And now you're going to be really smart because you're going to know this ahead of time, but we're going to learn it a little bit later this year. But it's a property that we use a lot, which basically we can just flip-flop 2 numbers that we're multiplying and our answers will still be the same. So it's a pretty cool trick. Okay, moving on. Okay, are we ready for the next one right here for C? So we have, I think they're eggs. What do you think? They look like eggs in a carton. So how many eggs are in each section here? 6, right? So 6, 6, 6, and 6. And we're going to put a plus sign in between it to make it repeated addition. okay? And we're going to add those together. So again, we could do 6 plus 6 is 12, 6 plus 6 is 12, and 12 plus 12 is 24. Awesome job. And here, so if you see right here, we have the same thing that we have up there. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 24. You could touch each egg and count them, okay? Or if you could get up to, if you know that 6 plus 6 is 12, and then count on from there. So if I know this is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and count up like that. There's a lot of different strategies to come up with the same answer, whatever works best for you, boys and girls. Okay, so the next one right here, it's asking us to do a little bit more. So it says blank groups of 6. Well, how many groups do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. So I'm going to fill that in. 4 groups of 6 equals, we already did that work. We already found out that equals 24. So then I have 4 times 6 equals 24. Are we getting good at this? Good. I want you to pause the video now, and I want you to try D on your own. So I want you to do exactly what we have done, and I want you to finish filling in this repeated addition sentence. I want you to finish filling in this part right here, and then finish filling in the multiplication sentence right there. So pause the video and fill those in, and then come back and check your work. I'm just going to work along. I'm hoping that you're paused, so I'm going to go groups of 4. All right, boys and girls, so I'm going to come back. So I'm hoping that you pause the video and fill this in, and then I'm going to kind of go over it with you so you can check your work with my work and see if we agree, okay? So we have groups of 4. So now we have some tasty lemons. I put a 4 above each one because there's 4 lemons in each group. I'm going to put that plus sign in between each one to show that we are using repeated addition. And I filled in my 4s, and then I found that all those 4s together equal 24. Do you agree? Give me a thumbs up if you had that part as well. Awesome job. All right, so then let's see what you came up with this. So there's 6 groups. So 6 groups of 4. Did you put a 4 there? Thumbs up if you put a 4. Good, and then we know that this part would also be 24. Super job. And then 6 times blank. Now, if we remember with this sticky note here, the first number is the number of groups times how many are in each group, and then we have the total. So the number of groups there is 6, which they gave us, times the size of the group. So how many are in each group? 4, which again equals 24, because we already found that total there. Okay, give me 2 thumbs up if you feel pretty good about that. Okay, even if maybe you didn't get something right, if you're feeling better about it now, give me that thumbs up. Super job, boys and girls. All right, flip it over. And we're just going to kind of breeze through this quickly. It says the picture below shows 2 groups of apples, 1, 2. Does the picture show 2 times 3? Explain why or why not. Do you think this picture shows 2 times 3? What do you think? Yes or no? 2 groups, one has 3 and one has 2. Does it show 2 times 3? Well, with multiplication is equal groups. Are these equal groups? They are not. So our answer is going to be no, comma, because they are not equal groups. Period. So we're writing a sentence, so we should have a capital N right at the beginning, and we want a period at the end. So no, comma, because they are not equal groups. Okay, and again, at any time if you need to pause to catch up, then go ahead. That's the beauty of the video together. Number 3 says to draw a picture to show 2 times 3. So it's 2 times 3 equals 6. Again, That first number is the number of groups. So that means that I'm going to have two groups. So I'm going to make two circles because there's my two groups. And the next part is the size of the group. That means how many are in the group. So I'm going to put 3 in each group. Okay, and then I can label those 3 and 3. Put the plus sign in between it for my repeated addition, and I know that that equals 6. So that's 2 times 3 equals 6. That was fun, right? So that time we took a multiplication sentence and we made the picture to follow. Last one, we are flying through. Okay. All right, so put your finger or your pencil on Caroline, and will you follow along with me? You can read it right out loud with me. I would love that. Okay. Caroline, Brian, and Marta share a box of chocolates. They each get the same amount. So there's that. They each get the same amount. So those are telling me they're equal groups, right? Put the equal sign there. Circle the chocolates below to show 3 groups of 4. Okay, so I kind of separated them. It's 3 groups of 4. Okay, then write a repeated addition sentence and a multiplication sentence to represent the picture. So when we have a word problem like this, it's good for us to kind of piece it apart. I circled to show that they have the same amount because that shows me that we're working with multiplication because we have those equal groups. I circled 3 groups because we are dealing with 3 groups. So I know that I want to end up with 1, 2, 3 groups. And it says of 4. So that means there's 4 in each group. So actually, let me just do this. Kind of draw a separate picture and then I'll do it on there. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do that. So I'm going to have these groups of 4. So 3 groups of 4. So over here, I'm going to circle groups of 4. And these chocolates, I think it said, right? Yes, chocolates. Groups of 4. And your groups don't have to look exactly like mine do, as long as they have 4 in it. Okay, so write a repeated addition sentence. So I have 4 in this group, 4 in that group, and 4 in that group. So I have it there, but I'm going to bring it over here too. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals, now if I add that, what does that equal, boys and girls? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Thumbs up if you had 12 also. Good. We also want a multiplication sentence, and again, I'm going to pull this out. When we multiply, the first number of a multiplication sentence is the number of groups. So how many groups are there? We circled 3 groups. And the second one is the size of the group, or how many are in each group, and we circled 4 in each group. So it's 3 times 4 equals, and then the total, and we already know our total there is 12 if we count all those chocolates. So we wrote a repeated addition sentence and a multiplication sentence. And that is the end of our problem set number 1, our first lesson with multiplication. So what do you think? Give me 2 thumbs up if you're feeling pretty good about it. 1 thumb up if you're feeling pretty good. Maybe this way if we're not quite there, we're not too sure yet. Or maybe we're not there at all. If that's the case, that's okay. But you know what? You can watch this video again. You can play with your tiles or your counters and work on making some equal groups and showing us. If you, boys and girls, if you make some equal group pictures and write your repeated addition sentences and multiplication sentence, that would make your teacher so happy, and we would love to see it. If we look back at our I can statement from this morning, I can use equal groups to solve multiplication problems. Can we do that now? I hope so. Super job today, boys and girls. I'm very proud of you. Great work, and I'll see you later.